We're live, y'all. Welcome to Sexual Frequency, baby, a non-judgmental place where we could play, explore, and vibe into the new paradigm of intimacy and sexuality together. I'm your host, Goddess Lore. Welcome to episode 45. Round of applause. Yeah. Okay, so I'm beyond juicy tonight, and it's for a couple reasons. One, because I realized today that I have a really big date coming up, you guys, and I'm kind of nervous.
Okay.
It's coming up in 3 days. It's gonna be me and Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio on Saturday night. It's gonna be me. He's gonna bring a couple of friends, but I'm like, I'm kinky. It's okay. We can do that.
Wow.
So I'm super juiced for that. That's why we have this song tonight. And I definitely needed somebody to put sunblock on me today because I was out in the streets working. But the other reason why I'm feeling really juicy tonight, guys, because we have our favorite trio in the building, in the studio, guys, for the very first time. Are you guys listening? It is Virgin Vibes tonight because we have Los Primos Chidos kicking it with us. Ricky, let's get a round of applause for the Primos.
What's up?
So first off, Rick Rock with a hard cock.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Because this weekend.
I don't want to talk about it. We're still. My name is Owen. Owen 3. Is that what we're referring to?
Yes,
Right.
bitch. Yes. Because look, I consider myself a hopeful romantic. And listen, the Raiders just are ruining that
They're
for me.
garbage. They're
Because
garbage right now. They're fucking it up.
every time they just suck me back in, they reel me in with all the hope, all the like, yes, this is gonna happen. Just one play, baby. Not even just one, just one play, baby. And you know,
I know, ni más.
You guys are Raiders fans?
yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Where's the Rams love? Come
We-
on.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not.
Are y'all Rams
I'm
fans?
not,
Rams.
I'm not hating
Okay,
on the
okay.
Rams. I've always rooted for LA teams. I'm not hating on the
Yes.
Rams.
Same.
This was just, I was born into the Raider Nation.
Yes. Same. Raiders have my heart. They didn't have my loyalty, but Raiders definitely have my heart. And I came back to the Raiders maybe like 2 seasons ago where I was like, okay, I'm coming back. They have my heart. Like I was restoring and healing my relationship with my dad and with men in general. And all of my friends who are Raiders fans were like, what are you doing? Don't do it. Like, why? And I was like, no, but no. They're like, don't do it, please. I was like, it's a metaphor for men. He goes, yeah, men are trash too. These are men time, and I was like, don't say that. I have hope. I'm a hopeful romantic, and I definitely do not believe that men are trash. Definitely not at all. I combat that because I'm like, if I think that men are trash, guess what men are showing up in my life? Men that are trash.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
absolutely
That's
not.
true.
Humans are not trash. Some of them can have a light scent of garbage sometimes. Like, okay, but okay. I mean, I'm being so rude because you guys are hearing the laughter. You're hearing the comments. So I want to welcome to the first time here in Sexual Frequency. We have Brandon, Jules, and Steve. How are you guys tonight?
I'll go first. I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. I've wanted to be on your show for a while. I told you it kind of in private. On the way to Las Vegas like a few months ago, we listened to your show like most of the ride there, and I was like, we got to go on the show. We got to be on
I
here.
love that. Thank you. I'm so excited that you guys are here.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I was like, wow, we're finally gonna be on your show. We also haven't seen you in a cool bit.
Yeah.
So it's really nice reuniting with both of y'all. So it's really exciting. We'll see
Yay.
what we're gonna talk about tonight too.
It's gonna be juicy. How are you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm telling you, I'm juiced. I'm so excited. So, for those of you who don't know, the Primos Chidos and Sexual Frequency were born around the same time. We all launched our podcast together at TGN Latinx when that launched. I miss my TGN family. Yeah, shout out to
Shout out to
TGN. I miss y'all. I'm still
It's
fam.
still like this. It's still
Yeah, we're still good. We're still good. Invite me to the carne asada, like, what's up? Invite me to the, what did y'all guys have? Like a karaoke?
Oh yeah,
stuff?
karaoke
People
night.
hanging
Yeah.
karaoke. That was pretty dope. Yeah, so we started around the same time, and I'm not gonna lie, like, because you guys have been so consistent with putting your show out. I always think like, fuck, we could have been at that many episodes too, but like life be life. Like we can't. But I want to give you guys your flowers for that because you guys are really consistent. You've been putting out content. It's good content. You're growing your audience. So I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel that one right here. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm like, we are really so happy to have you guys on. Like, we've been wanting to do a collab for a while. So hopefully this is the start of something beautiful. You know, you never know. Let's see. Hopefully,
way.
you know, yeah, it does, right? The energy like feels good. I want to touch on just a couple of things that we have in common before we get started. First of all, we are all fans of King Taco in this studio at the moment,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, King Taco is life. And if you don't believe it, like, I ain't got time for you. King Taco, look, my mouth waters. King Taco is just, it's fucking bomb. We love it. I know Ricky sometimes, like, he'll come over, and so my sister is a super fan of King Taco, and especially because she went to San Francisco. She went and left for college, and she was like, "There's no fucking
Culture
King
shock.
Taco." Like, so every time she came home, she wanted to eat like King Taco breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So when it feels like every time Ricky comes over, we're like, "Hey, what are we gonna eat, bro? Let's go to King Taco." And Ricky's like, "Y'all, we had that last week," and we're like, "So, get something different. Try a torta."
That's literally us. There's so many times we finish the show and we just are like, "Fuck it, you want King Taco?" Or hey, when we watch the Canelo fight, wow, what are the odds? Shout out to King Taco, technically our first sponsor.
Yes.
Because of them, in this crunch time, the Canelo fight was about to go on, and we were like, "Damn, we're hungry. Like, we haven't ate." And then we pulled up to King Taco because we live near the first ever King Taco. Just a fun fact.
Wait, where's the first ever one you said? Where?
The first ever King Taco is in Cypress Park, Northeast LA. Shout out.
Oh, okay.
That's the best one.
Yeah, it
Wait, where
really
is
is.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in Northeast LA. It's in Cypress Park on Cypress Avenue. I could tell you like a whole history lesson about it, but I don't want to sound like a dick right now.
No, so the closest King Taco to me is the one on Broadway. So we frequent the one on Broadway, which is in Lincoln Heights, or Club King Taco on 3rd Street, like, because that one's the one that's open like all the fucking time. And we also, our friends live in Maywood, so we kind of go to that one too. So does your King Taco, the first one, do they sell other stuff like the chile relleno and like the pozole? And
They're different.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them have tortas. Oh yeah.
yeah, some of them do.
Yeah, chimichangas. I don't know what would be like the
King Taco is like one
the
from our
yeah.
place.
'Cause
I don't know.
I feel like we only go there for the most part.
Listen, can y'all please talk to your sponsors, because your girl right here, she wants the tripas back. Like, I don't like the tripas seem to be like seasonal now. Like, it's only on occasion. Like, people get scared of mad cow disease or whatever, and I'm like, give me the tripas. I want tripas. It reminds me of like my childhood. My mom used to make tripas. So okay, second thing that we have in common is that we are all private school kids. Yeah, all of us went to private school. Yes. So Rick, where'd you go?
So I went to St. Aloysius, which is in LA, and then I went to Salesian High School.
Oh, what?
Yeah. That's the 97, baby.
97.
Yeah, Lori and I are from the same year.
We are,
She
yeah.
went to Sacred Heart.
Yeah, I went to All Saints, which is like right by my house, in El Sereno, but that's like now it's been closed. And then I went to Sacred Heart for high school, and I met Rick because it just so happened that like my sister and one of her friends had a sister that was my age, and I was like, hey, let's introduce them. And then we've been friends since what, 93? We've been friends since 1993, Rick and I.
Yeah, started high school.
Yeah. And then I was a cheerleader for Salesian. Our senior year.
I was yearbook, so I was always taking pictures of the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's for the yearbook.
Yeah, and so Ricky was known as what was your nickname, Ricky? Dr. Love. Dr. Love, Doctor. Ricky was always like giving advice, being supportive. So we are all private school kiddos. Did you guys want to share where you went?
Yeah, we went to Divine Savior School. That's where I met this guy. And then, I didn't meet my sister there. But
like, I known her entire life. Thank you very much.
Me and Brandon met. Me and Steve have been going to the same school since.
Nice.
We went to the same. Not only did we go to the same, like kindergarten, middle school,
high school,
middle.
college.
Yeah.
The track. You guys all followed each other. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I've known him so long that I don't remember how I met him.
I
It's all
love those.
blurred,
I love
yeah.
those stories. Those are, because nowadays there's so many people who don't have lifelong like childhood friends, right? Like, and I look at Rick and I'm like, man, we have a group. Like, we have a solid group that we see each other consistently. So keep that shit up, because that is like priceless. Before we get into it though, Rick, let the people know what time it is.
That's right. It's the pre-roll time. Just
The
give me a
pre-roll.
second to get there.
Yes.
Let me get in here.
The
into this.
pre-roll.
I keep forgetting where I put my banners. Here we go. All right, everybody.
Ooh, who that?
Tonight's show always sponsored by the one and only 360 Photo Booth Expert. Whether you're looking to purchase or rent a 360 photo booth for your next event, visit 360photoboothexpert.com. With over 10 years of being in the photo booth industry, they're always going above and beyond with excellent service and help, and they also speak Spanish. So visit 360photoboothexpert.com and click on the Get in Touch tab, and don't forget to use promo code Sexual Frequency for our special discount.
Hey, hablan español, so hit up your girls, Gabby and Agatha. They're going to take good care of you. Rick, get that graphic ready for me, the yummy one.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to have a conversation with you guys around generational differences, around sex and intimacy, because I was listening to your show when you were talking about 9/11. And it was so intriguing, right? Because you guys were posing questions like, well, I wonder like what it was for someone who was like older and like generational, how we experience things. So I was like, this is going to be perfect for when the primos are on, because, we have a smidge of a generation gap, guys. Just a little bit.
Barely noticeable.
Right? Barely noticeable. It's not even a thing. So I wanted to just have this conversation with you guys. And I'm not saying, don't at me, like they are not the voice of their generation. I'm not saying that, but it's good. Like, I love getting different perspectives from different ages, because I'm like, I want to know where we're going, when it comes to like sex, intimacy. And so my mom is here. So whenever the lights dim in the studio, it means like my mom's here. And Jeff could attest it literally only happens when we're here. And as soon as I say, oh, my mom's here, like it'll stop. So hi, Mom.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Mom, what's up? Okay, so I want to talk about these things because like we've been hearing that there's like this sex drought, right? Or this like, I don't even know all of the crazy words that people have been talking about. Like so much so, Rick, can you pop up the graphic?
Which one? The pyramid?
The yummy one. The yummy one. The one that makes your mouth water. Ricky, come on.
Wait, the chips one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to make sure, because we got two graphics right here. So, all right, there it goes.
Are we up? Okay. So this is a company based out of Lithuania. And I want to know, are y'all trying this? So they came up with this chip that is pussy flavored because they want millennials to get laid more.
Really, caption was great.
Literally, yeah, like it was so good, right? Because they were like, yo, why aren't y'all eating pussy? Why aren't y'all like having sex? What's up? Like, let us give you something tasty, crunchy that is going to remind you of, like, you know, maybe some of your adventures. Or why is my mouth watering? I'm like, ooh, chips, ooh, pussy, good, great combination. I want to know, are y'all trying this? Because I mean, y'all know I would
When
try
you
it.
sent it to us, I was like, I kind of do want to try it. But like pussy flavored chips, like you swear, like, is that really what it's gonna taste like? Like,
There's such variation, right? Go ahead,
Does it
Julie.
have a taste? I don't
Pussy
know.
has a yes, pussy has a very distinct,
Right?
very distinct taste. I advocate for everybody to like taste pussy. Like, I feel like, and this might sound like really weird, but especially for women, it can be like a health thing too. Look, so like when you taste yourself, you can tell when you're like out of balance, you know, when you're and it's like, oh, okay, something that was a little different. Do I need to up my probiotic or whatever the case may be, right? But yes, I advocate that everybody should know what pussy tastes like.
What do you think about vabbing? Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
wait, what's fabbing? What's fabbing?
Vabbing, remember?
So it's like they get like I guess the pussy
Their
juice,
cooter
right?
juice?
Their
Yeah.
cooter juice.
Cooter juice.
And they rub it on themselves because they said that it'll
Oh,
attract
yeah.
the
pheromones,
pheromones,
yeah.
yeah.
Your natural
So
scent, like,
Yeah.
you know.
yes. So I told myself that I was going to actually try this. I haven't tried it. It's not new. Like, it just happens to be trending on TikTok, but you know, women have been doing this for generations.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like it's your natural scent. You know how some people say like, "Oh, I'm attracted to like that musk." Like for men, right?
Yeah.
Like get close. Like some women say like, "I love just the natural scent that just comes from someone." It's the same thing, but it's like for a woman. So it's like if somebody happens to smell and be attracted to that pheromone, it's like, oh, like, okay, we're matching, we're vibing. Thanks to vabbing, you know. So I'm gonna try it. I'll let y'all know how it goes. But I'm all for it. Like
I totally thought you were gonna say like I'm gonna try it. Like, in fact, like I didn't tell you guys, but that smell you guys have been smelling.
That would have been good. That would have been some good content. But you know, I'm also like very comfortable with talking about things, very comfortable with my body. So to me, it's like it's not like a big deal where I'm
It's
like,
another
yeah,
perfume.
yeah, for real. It's like, okay, what do I want to attract? You know, and it's not even about attracting men or a partner or whatever. It's like it's like, I don't know, there's this like feeling of like empowerment, you know, for me, where I'm just like, oh, okay, like you be smelling good, you be tasting good, like, okay, we're like on a good, you know, in a good place. So I'm all for vabbing. So, but I didn't get the answer though. Are y'all tasting chips? Steve said he's gonna try.
I'm down. Might
Steve's
as well.
down.
You gotta try it, Julie.
I guess I'll have one.
Julia's like, maybe I'll just lick it a little, take a little bite. What about you, Brandon? Are you trying?
Yeah, I guess, right? I can't be the only one who doesn't.
Right? What about you, Rick?
I'm gonna be the only one that doesn't. You gotta try it, man. I gotta try it. I gotta see what it tastes like. I want to see if they're right, if they're on the money or what.
But like, what does
Right.
it go with? Like, what does pussy flavored chips go with? I feel like I can't just have pussy flavored chips. I gotta have something on the side. I gotta have like a full course meal, you know?
You gotta have dick flavored dip.
There you go.
You gotta have some cock and balls beverages. I don't know, like what that would be like.
Okay, this is new.
Y'all are like, what the fuck did we get into? As a matter of fact, Jeff, can you bring the chips? No, I'm just kidding. That would have been so good, huh? We need to hit up Lithuania.
I'm
so
gonna
we
order
get
these,
some chips.
for sure.
Yeah.
For reals, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious.
Look,
Yeah.
have us on the show. We'll do it live. We'll eat the pussy chips.
We'll start that. What's that one hot chili
Hot chip
chip?
challenge?
Yeah. So we'll do the pussy chip challenge.
The pussy chip challenge. I love it.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
pussy doesn't all taste the same. Like it tastes, you know, not that I've had a lot, but the two that I've tried tasted very different. One was much better than the other. So I'm gonna say
Sneak
about
this.
that. If y'all could pick a flavor though, like I don't know. I asked my sister, yo, what? She goes like, flaming hot. I was like, flaming hot pussy? I don't think that goes. Like, I don't know. What would you balance it with, huh? Pussy chips and flaming hot Cheetos. Pussy chips and...
What?
I don't know, man, but you need something to soothe that heat.
You need a palate cleanser.
that, yeah.
You need a
Or to
palate
soothe
cleanser.
that heat. If it's too hot, you need some lechita.
Oh, no, he didn't. He went there, guys.
Drink some holy water
He-
after.
Por mi
Cleanse
culpa, por mi
myself.
culpa, por mi gran culpa. And I agree with your dad. God is with us all the time, everywhere. We don't gotta go to church. Peace.
Wow. She knows the Lord.
I mean, you know, listen.
Yeah. Thank you.
We-
She's been tuning in.
I've been tuning in. You know, we gotta do these things. Okay, so I wanted to go, Rick, shoot up the graphic. I know y'all are familiar with like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So one of the needs that is on there is sex. You could see it's in the teal turquoise category.
Yeah.
It has changed over time because this one says sexual intimacy. Before, I think originally the OG one just literally said sex. And there's been a lot of controversy around what does that actually mean? Does it mean sex for procreation? Does it mean sex for pleasure? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Because this is like needs. Like
Mhm.
these are things that people need. Do you guys feel that sex is in the right place for that triangle?
I feel like it should be higher, if I'm being honest. I feel like sex is like a natural thing, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's what I really like about your shows. You make it like you show it's like there shouldn't be this weird stigma on it, right? Because like I feel like the reason why people in the past, like in the 50s, were so uptight was because there was like a huge stigma on like sex. And if anything, if you saw in the 60s and 70s when there was like people more liberated in it,
Mhm.
like that's when people was like, you know, like make love, not war. Like
Yeah.
I always think that was cool.
And they were also shrooming all the time. They were like on, or LSD, right? Psychedelics were, you know, like pretty big
Yeah, I've
during
heard.
that time.
Oh, go ahead.
no,
go ahead.
I was
go
just gonna say, like with sex, there's a lot of like health benefits that I guess we've also seen now
Right.
that are good for your body and like for, I guess in a way also it says self-esteem, and I feel like that helps a lot
Yeah.
with your confidence,
Your
and,
mental
like,
health,
everything,
yeah.
So I think that's like the other part of like, yeah, I agree with him that it should be a little higher because it is something that you also see in nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I actually think it's in a good place, and that's not because I don't think it's important. I just
Mhm.
think that breathing, food, water. You obviously need that to be
Right.
alive. And you
Mhm.
need security of body, morality. And I think those things. It's not that they're like any more important. Like you can live without sex, but you can't live without this. I think it's just more like when you have security of the body, then you're more inclined to have a better experience with sexual intimacy, along with friendship and family. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think it's more like that. That's me personally.
Yeah,
That's a good
I
point.
agree with you because that's really one of the key things that you need to really be able to open yourself and be very like expressive sexually is you need that safety, right? I would also venture to say that yeah, we need those basic things like to survive, right? Like to keep our body alive. But I'm like, if you're not having sex or some form of pleasure, like, are you really living? Like you're surviving, you're alive, but are you living? I feel like there's a distinction between that. And I also think like this is part of the reason why people put sex like, oh, it's not that important. I don't need it to survive. I could go months without it. I could whatever. We don't prioritize it. There's been so much stigma around sex, even just like talking about it. Not just that, it was just something about this article that I was reading where it talked about like there's also such a difference because women have so much more sexual agency now. And not in the sense of like, oh, women can have all these partners, but sexual agency to say like, no, like I don't want to fuck you tonight, whether I'm married to you or not. So interestingly enough, when I was reading this study about this like drought, the generation that reported to having the most sex was in the 1930s. But it's like when you
Oh,
think
wow,
about
really?
those factors, it's like women reported having sex because it was like their duty. So they didn't really have the agency to say like I'm cool, like so it didn't necessarily equate to like good sex or satisfying sex. It was just like literally the act of having sex. Millennials and Gen Z have reported the least amount of sex, the least amount of casual sex, which I found that very interesting. So it says that millennials and Gen Z are having less casual sex than previous generations. This was pre-COVID also. The findings have parallel evidence that younger people aren't having partnered sex either. So it's saying that younger generations are not necessarily like in relationships, I guess technically as much as other generations have been. Maybe living at home for longer periods of time contributes to also like not being partnered or not being able to have the access to like, y'all could fucking cars though. Like not that I did. I mean, I messed around in a car, but I was kind of surprised by that because it's always assumption of like, oh, the young kids are out here and just being super immoral, but it seems like the younger generations are like, y'all different.
I don't know. I'm kind of also surprised by it, but I think it's because I don't know, the way I grew up, I didn't really like hear that many like sex stories, at least from my friends. And then from there, I went into college, and then college did seem like everyone was just kind of sleeping around with people, but I never really saw it or heard it from like any close friends as much of like that they were. So it's at least to me, it's interesting like hearing that because I honestly thought that there was a lot more going on, but I guess not.
Yeah, because I wonder how much of that is also like people bragging, like, oh yeah, like I'm
like just lying.
Whatever. Yeah.
I get you, yeah.
It's like you were gonna say something, Steve. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I'm not surprised at all. I feel like if you really look at the way that people interact nowadays, like people are very like there's this term that our generation uses called chronically online, where it's like you spend a lot of time online, and I think our generation has become a generation of overthinkers. And they kind of like they put sex on like a pedestal, and because of that they're very intimidated by like the idea of having sex. And like also like just porn is a lot more available, like whether it's Twitter, TikTok, like there's just so much shit you see every day that like it kind of like it fills that need.
Yeah, you guys talked about that on your episode too, of like just the availability of even just like gory things, right? Like how many of you have seen beheadings in your generation, right? Like I could say like I haven't. Like Ricky and I had this VHS tape called Faces of Death.
There was like 6 parts or something like that.
Probably the most gory thing we ever saw, and it's like crazy. Your parents had to be fucking shrooming for you to watch that at some party or something. Right?
Wow. So this was a VHS tape of like gore?
Yeah, this was it was like a movie. Yeah, it was called Faces of Death. And and they would show video clips of, the one that I fucking remember was I don't know if he was a congressman or a city council member or whatever, but he was going to retire, he did this press conference. And he's trying to, I don't know what he was in trouble for. I can't remember. I want to say I was like 80 years old. And he pulls out an envelope and he takes out a gun, and everybody's like, oh, everybody gets panicked. And he's like, no, relax. And then he just offs himself. And so they used these clips, and they made a video of like a bunch of different clips of people.
Yeah. And it was animals too, though. Yeah. I think
it was one of
I saw one scene and I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I saw one where they were burning a pig alive just to. And I don't know if it's like for science also to see what happens to the body as when you being burned and stuff like that. But I mean, it was just, I don't know, it was just crazy shit that I would see these things and I was like, all right, I'm out. I can't fucking sit through this. Like I'm out of here.
Like what year? What year was
I was this? Like, I want to say I was like 8, 9 years old, man. So,
are you serious?
Yeah. So that was what, like 87, 88? Yeah.
89, 87, 88.
I didn't know that kind of stuff existed.
Oh, yeah.
But it was weird because it was like the occult thing that kids talked about when they got together at family parties. Really? Like, yo, did you see Faces of Death? And I was like, y'all are sick. No, I
feel
don't
like that sounds even scarier than like just looking it up on the internet. Because like a VHS tape, especially you see all these movies of like haunted VHS tape. Like I feel like something like that. Like, oh, I have this tape of like gore. I feel like that's even scarier than me than my friend being like, let's go watch gore on the internet.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause for us, it was. Well, I have a question for you actually leading into this because if you wanted to find it like as a kid, there's r/gore, which is Reddit.
Okay.
But a lot of people find that like sexually arousing is like gore.
Interesting.
That's
So-
the snuff films. Like, that's
Yeah.
basically.
So, yeah, what do you guys think about that? Like people who like
Get turned
obviously it's wrong. Like you shouldn't be watching like a dog get shot and you're like, oh, yeah.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know
But
about that.
I don't know. It's tricky. It's like, one, again, we're not trying to shame and judge, but at the same time, like, I feel that it's beyond sexual. I think it's more of the feeling of like killing or seeing the gore that is the trigger for the person to get off, as opposed to the sexual.
Yeah.
content.
But there's also like consent is not available for that, right? Like,
true.
because you
That's
have
obviously
like in animals, I'm gonna say, shoot me to get your dick hard. Like I volunteer as tribute. Like, that's not gonna happen. But there was a film, I want to say it was called Crash. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, where the couples would get off by causing accidents and then like fucking before the cops or the paramedics come. Maybe it wasn't called Crash. Maybe it was called. Was it?
I think
Yeah.
it was called Crash. They were like getting.
It
off
was
and,
kind of
like,
hot. Like they
literally
would crash and it'd be
crash into
like,
a car,
fuck,
yeah.
like I broke my arm, and it'd be like, oh fuck, like my pussy wet. Like, let's go. It was so interesting. Let's revisit that. I think I want to revisit that. Not that I would get off on it, but it's interesting, right? Like these concepts that like people find arousing. Like, I don't know, like the pain,
or even
the pain aspect.
another older movie, Nicolas Cage, 8mm, it was called, and it was about snuff films. A girl that somehow I don't know if he was a private investigator, I can't remember, but he's looking for this girl that was on this snuff film tape, and he's trying to solve her. Well, he's trying to find who killed her or what happened to her. But that was like the realm he jumps into is these guys are like doing these films to get off, but they're killing their
We do not condone that
yeah
at all.
I mean,
That's
it was
sexual
crazy. 8mm,
frequency.
That's the one
I
kink.
think you gotta
We
look it up.
need consent. So here in Sexual Frequency, we say anything that excites you, that you can have consenting individuals, and by individuals I mean adults, people of consenting age, and you're not harming anybody. That is the opposite of that. So we don't condone that. Even Crash, because I feel like people could get really hurt. Don't do that.
Mhm.
High Priest is on there saying, I saw beheadings, not fun times. And then she says, nah, that was like snuff films.
And Priestess is a different generation from us too. Priestess, what generation are you? Oh, she's a millennial. She's a millennial. So Gen Z is from 1997. This says to 2012. Millennial says 81 to 96. I don't know how accurate this is. Gen Z says 65 to 80. And then apparently there's 2 fucking categories of boomers. And I don't know how I feel about that. And then there's post-war and then like World War II or something. I'm like, okay, we don't need to go all the way back. But I wanted to ask you guys, let's go back to the Catholic education, right? Because we hear so much like, oh, there's no comprehensive like sex ed even now. I want to know what type of sex ed you guys received when you were growing up. So it's usually what, like 8th grade maybe? I think it started younger.
I don't really remember it. I know we got it, like, but I remember it more as good touch, bad touch. Do you remember?
Okay.
I don't really.
That must have been when there was a priest scandals going on, because everybody had to take courses during that time. We outaged that.
I feel like I remember it was like in 6th grade, and then I don't really remember what we learned specifically, but I do remember like the whole good touch, bad touch, because then like when we would be in recess or like something, the boys would be like, "Oh, is it okay if I touch you? Is it okay?" But they would like be like joking.
Okay.
They'd be like, or like,
so like
or
let's laugh about consent, sort of.
Or
Okay.
they would like play
It's just still
basketball
practicing.
and like, you know how sometimes they would show each other.
Yeah.
They're like, was that okay? Was that okay? Or something. I just remember them always joking about
Like,
it.
bad touch, bitch.
I
Taking you down.
Yeah. But from there, and then I know in high school we had, what was it?
No, yeah.
No, it was like something else, but that was like a lot more.
High school
like,
was more
into
comprehensive.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in middle school, I remember learning like the science,
Like the
weirdly enough,
biology.
like the sperm, the egg. I remember
Mhm.
that, but I don't remember getting like condoms, STDs, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
High school,
Yeah.
that was. I think high school was a lot more comprehensive, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
middle school kind of.
Do you remember, Ricky? Because I feel like I don't think we talked condoms at
No,
fucking Sacred Heart.
in elementary school, I remember I think it was called Family Life, and it was like a book,
Already indoctrinating
but it was
you.
more of like the scientific, like
Mhm.
oh, this is what males have, what females
Right.
have, and the whole getting pregnant. In high school, I think it was just I mean, we always had I want to say, I mean, every year we always did like AIDS Awareness Day, and so in
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
events, we would always hear about protection and safe sex and stuff like that. But
Right.
I don't remember like an actual.
Yeah, I feel like for our generation and maybe younger, it was very much like prevention. It was all about prevention, preventing STDs, preventing pregnancy. The Catholic perspective was more about preventing pregnancy. And it wasn't really comprehensive. It wasn't like this is a safe way to do it, or this like fucking abstinence bullshit that we're like hearing now. I think that's a big problem. I'm at a point right now where I'm starting to. I have a son who he's about to be 14, and so we've had conversations. Like I try to have a very sex positive like home, um, but so many men are saying now, like as they're older, it's like nobody ever taught me like how to please a woman or how to please a man or how to please myself, and so I'm kind of teetering on the like whose responsibility is it to do that? Because porn's not going to do it. Your friends aren't going to do it because you're all watching porn, which is like not real life, right? So I'm just like, fuck, where do you go? What's the middle ground? School's not going to teach, this is how you give head. Like nobody is gonna do that. And even for myself now, I'm like, oh, I was in a situation where I was like actually watching someone and I was like, I'm picking up some skills right here. Like, look what she's doing. Like, okay. Like, I'm like, what? My mind was like blown a little bit. I'm like, what's she doing? And then I looked closer and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that next time. Again, my mouth watered. Sorry, guys. This is apparently the mouth watering episode. It's like King Taco, pussy chips.
I was gonna say, yeah. Somebody wants to try
Watching
those
somebody
chips.
suck dick. Anyway, okay, so this is what we have learned right about sex education. So maybe not too much changed within like that generational, but we also did go to private school, so we know they had a lot different agendas.
High Priestess is saying yes, we had family life too. So she remembered.
Yeah, family life,
Yeah,
where we learned the rhythm method. I just want to say my parents, the last two children, Priestess being one of them, were conceived during the rhythm method. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, but it was also New Year's Eve, so I think the rhythm method went out the window.
What's the rhythm method? What is it?
Where you like, your body, so when you're ovulating and when your window of pregnancy is. So it's like, oh, if you don't want to have a baby, don't have sex during this this time because you're fertile. All the other times, like you're okay. Like what your percentage is of
That's interesting because one time my grandma actually talked about it. How she would do that. She would do it when she knew that she wasn't like ovulating, so she would have sex. And I thought that was interesting because like she never really talked about it.
Grandma?
Yeah.
Granny?
Uh-oh.
I don't remember this.
Because I feel like it's like my mom's mom. Not to put like all her stuff out there, but it was my mom's mom. And it was me, my mom, and my grandma. And I don't know how the conversation came up, but I think my mom asked her a question or something, and because I think my grandma was like, I never took birth control or anything. So she's like, so I had my doctor had told me that there's a time when like I can have sex and like possibly not get pregnant. So she's like, so I started doing that, and I was just like, that's interesting because like I don't know how to track that like me myself because I never like learned it or I've never really like asked my doctor about it. But I was just like, it's interesting how she was like she did that and because she didn't want to get like birth control or she just couldn't afford it. And it was also interesting because now I'm also learning about my mom and how she's like being more open about it.
Oh, I
about
love
like
that.
she's trying to learn more about like her body and stuff because she like talks to me about it too. She's like I wasn't educated, like our grandma was really strict and our family was just really strict, and she's like recently talked to me about it of like I want to learn more about myself and like my body, and like I guess she was kind of hinting more of like being more pleasured in my own body, being comfortable with myself.
That. Let's have her on the show.
And it was just interesting because she was like telling me that, and it just came out of nowhere because I feel like I also grew up with my mom kind of like not being super comfortable and kind of like that aspect of it. So seeing her kind of do that, she was like, "I'm gonna send you the videos," and I was like, "Okay."
Thanks, Mom. I love that. I love the open communication. The rhythm method is interesting because I don't want to fully knock it because also back then, like, women were so much more in tune with their bodies, more in tune with their cycles. They didn't have all these like toxins that we put into our body now, right? Like even like hormones and what we eat, and like everything has like soy and garbage and whatever. But it's empowering, like, to know, like, I wish that I knew, but I can't do it no more. I'm probably like, I'm so much closer to menopause. I mean, just kidding. I'm like 20 years from menopause, guys. Like, no shame. I'm probably perimenopausal. Just kidding. Sweating. I also want to know what type of drug prevention you guys received like growing up. Because we had DARE.
We didn't have DARE, but
we had a drug week where the students would all like be in groups and have to do a project and pick a drug, and we'd have to be like, "This is why this drug is bad." So like, it wasn't. Yeah,
I remember I got weed.
So did I.
Wow, you see,
this shit has backfired.
I know. And at the time, I remember looking into it, and like they told me like a bunch of outrageous shit. They're like, "Oh, it makes you all skinny, and like you get like boils on your face." And like now that I'm older, like I don't have boils on my face.
I remember one of the facts. I think it was your project. Was did you guys know Hitler smoked weed?
Oh yeah! Didn't I have like an X on it? And he's like sucking a joint.
Okay, I'm seeing more and more the obsession with Hitler. Like what is up with this? Like, yeah, y'all be talking about Hitler a lot.
Obsession?
Okay, maybe not an obsession, but like I feel like Hitler comes up, sort of regularly.
Yeah, okay. I think we find him more fascinating of like because he's like crazy. He's technically the #1 villain in history, right?
Yeah,
he's the Thanos.
I can see that.
He's gotta be, right?
Yeah. When everybody wants to say like
oh
somebody's
my
a
God,
bad person,
he's
they say
Thanos. That gave
he's
me
the next
chills.
Hitler.
Yeah. He's the top guy. He's the top dog.
I mean, look, we share the same birthday.
Do you really? Wait, isn't that 420?
Yes, we share. Hitler and I share the same birthday, and apparently we're both connoisseurs of cannabis.
Yeah,
so
cannabis too. That's 420. That's
wow.
the
This episode, all the things I have in common with Hitler. Go. If the Primos Chidos are on, we're talking Hitler's coming up.
Oh my God, that's our thing now. First it was shrooms, now it's like
shrooms.
Hitler.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, so we had DARE. So it's like what was it? Drug awareness, resistance, education. Yeah. And now I'm like, bitch, dare to stop me. Like, I'm gonna try it. Like, that was one of the biggest lies I heard growing up. It's like, drugs are bad for you. It's like, no, drugs are not fucking bad.
It was called Red Ribbon Week.
Oh, yes. Yeah, my kiddos have red ribbon week also. Fuck, I can't talk.
Wasn't it like Chad too or something? It was called Chad or Ned. Never, what was it? Never ever do drugs or something?
Yeah, they had a guy who did yo-yo tricks, and it was called, and like you get a yo-yo, and it's like a pledge.
Yeah, his name was like Ned, and it stood for like never ever do drugs. Wow. Right? You remember?
Yeah.
It was a good yo-yo, yeah. They got me. I was like, I'll never do drugs again. Dude, I actually remember.
Watch me walk the dog. No, I don't fucking do drugs.
I actually remember when we would have those like weeks where we would all get together, all the little kids, and we'd be like, yeah, bro, like never, like I'll never do drugs. Like I'll never even drink. Like I'm gonna be straight edge my whole life.
Yeah.
And then,
well, I remember you used to say you wanted to be straight edge.
Yeah, I wanted to be straight edge, but we don't talk about that anymore. Let's talk about my
I remember
failures.
that.
Okay, so let's move on to relationships because now there's this shift kind of that's going on, right? Where it's like we're not looking at relationships. Well, some of us are not looking at relationships as this like super conventional thing of like through the heteronormative lens or through the lens of like monogamy or yeah, I guess monogamy. Where are you guys with what do you think your generation or your circle of friends like lands on that? Like marriage? What do you guys think?
I hear a lot of people say that they're not into marriage these days.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're not into being like together with somebody, but just that they're against the ceremony. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, yeah, we can be married and say we're married, but they're kind of more against the you know what I mean?
The
Like,
whole
The
show.
religious,
Yeah.
like the religious piece. So, like, actually, technically married, like you go to court and you get married, or you just like
I've seen,
live together and you're committed.
yeah, I've seen more people like appeal to that, where it's like, oh, we live
Okay,
together and we're committed, but we're not like actually on paper married.
gotcha. Okay,
I
that
don't.
makes sense.
I think on a more romantic level, I've seen at least from my circle, like
Mm-hmm.
I think people have more trouble. Yeah, like if the idea of being with somebody the rest of your life, because I think most people that I know have that fear of like it'll never last, like it'll never actually be forever. And if you do stick with someone forever, it's forced, like it's not actually you happy. That's what I feel like I've seen a lot from my
Mm-hmm.
generation. Julie.
I think at least from my friends, I know it's like it's like a mix. Like there's some who are looking for like marriage, like that's
Mm-hmm.
like they say that they're dating to and like then go be in marriage. And then there's others who are like trying who move in together because they're like we're trying to see how we
Mm-hmm.
vibe, how like if this is something like we want to work out. But I know like the biggest thing is that they don't want kids before like they officially I guess tie the knot, right? Um but I don't know. I feel like it's just a mix of like that, and then there's just some who are just like, well, I don't want to get married or have kids, like, or But I feel like I don't know. It changes because I feel like a lot of my friends in college used to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think once they got into relationships, I feel like their their minds kind of switched, and they're like, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
am open to like marriage or something.
Or they just settled.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mic drop. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, we can definitely change our minds,
Yeah.
right? But I like that there's not this concept still going on of like the forever, the one person that you're the your soulmate that you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. That works for some people. Like I'm sure we can all think of maybe one or two examples in our life. Rick, I see you over there.
No, yeah, I'm curious. So, like, so we grew up with that, like, high school sweethearts, and so
Yes.
in your generation, like, do you have a group of friends that from high school are still together?
Yeah.
And is it a lot, or is it just maybe one or a few, or like, or is it just like one? You know what I mean? Like, I've always been curious with that idea of like, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it like you're saying, it works for for them. Not
Right.
knocking it, but I feel like now it's I would think that it diminished. Like there's not that many now. In your generation.
I know a few. I know a few
So it's
people
still okay.
who are
So
still
Yeah.
together and they were together in high school. Um, I always find it interesting. I just find it intriguing because I was talking with a group of my friends recently too. Because it's like I respect it to the highest degree because I know one thing about relationships is that it's like a lot of hard work, right? A
definitely.
lot of compromising, a lot of like just a lot of obstacles, right? And I think a lot of people don't have the patience for it. So to have like be kids and then like be together so long that you're now adults, like I really do respect it because like it's almost like it's like you're growing with like an extra piece of you, right? Like
Mm.
I find that kind of mind blowing. I don't know. To me, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I think that you definitely have to be with someone and have the mindset of like we're gonna grow and we're gonna evolve and we're gonna do it together. And I think when people can do that and live that, it can be really beautiful. Like I'm not
Yeah.
knocking
Yeah.
that. Like y'all get your, do your relationships, do what fucking feels good to you.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. Um,
I know at least from a lot of like my friends, if they were in like a long term committed relationship, after that I know a lot of them do like they're trying to do more like self-discovery of like I think I'd rather just be by myself because I haven't been by myself in so long.
Right.
I feel like I personally kind of went through that, but when I was in college, and I feel like that's why like my mindset was like so different. I for the most part I never know where I'm at with like relationships overall because I feel like it always just changes. But like for friends that I've known that now they're going through different journeys of like I want to see what I like and what I don't like and who I am as a person. Because sometimes people say that because they were in a very long-term relationship, maybe in high school or like middle school, they're like, well, I've been so in like I've only been into men, but I didn't realize that after I got out of it, I was also into women. And because they were just like, I was only familiar with like that kind of stuff, but I didn't realize that maybe I do like, I did think about like girls or something like that.
Yeah.
So I've also seen that with like a lot of my friends too, having that discovery of like, I don't like just men. There's also different like there's non-binary people that they're also like into and like all that stuff. So a lot of at least my side of the friends have like discovered that side to them. So that's been interesting to see that.
Yeah, I love that piece too, right? Where like there's things that are it gives me hope. Where it's like these conventional things are like melting away of like what gender roles are supposed to look like or where it's like how about we just like humans and we're attracted to what we like, whatever it is that, however they were born, like it doesn't matter. I am hoping for the day that it is as open for men to explore that for themselves, like men with other men, as acceptable as it is for women to explore with women. It's so much easier for us to be like, hell yeah, I'll try the pussy chips, but like for the guys to say like I'll try a dick chip, it'll be like, nah, bro. Like even if they want to, Brandon's like, pause for station identification. I gotta go. Yeah, but I'm hoping like that's what I really see, like the fluid future, and that's one of the reasons why I love Bad Bunny so much, because I feel like he is a representation of what the fluid future looks like before he even came out and said that he was bi or fluid or queer or whatever. It's like you just saw it, you knew it, right? And it wasn't so much because he wore skirts or painted his nails or did makeup or whatever. It was just like I could feel it, like I could feel it coming from him. I could feel his acceptance of how fluid his sexuality is, and all of those things. So I just had to bring it back. I'm gonna see you Saturday, baby. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And one more thing I wanted to say was like this study that they did, like there's so many variables, right, that like come with it. I have faith that y'all young people are gonna, kick it up a notch a little bit. Like we fucked you up. Society has fucked us up to think that it's wrong or bad. Like you said, sex, like putting sex like on a pedestal. Like, what does it mean? And am I enough? Or, like whatever the repercussions of it, right? Like it doesn't, like just be in your body. Just, close your eyes and see what it feels like to just be in your body and be you and connect with your sexual energy. And if there's something that scares you, good. Let's say you're in your moment and you're self-pleasuring and you're like, oh my God, that freaked me out. It's like, those are the places to explore, because that's the shadow that you're going to learn from yourself, right? It's like, okay, why did I watch Crash and it turned me on? Like, would it turn me on for like someone to fuck me up and then fuck me? I don't know. But it's like thinking about those things, right? And breaking that down. I asked you guys, side note, I asked you guys about the drug thing that you guys got, because the study also showed that there's a lot less alcohol consumption from younger generations, more social media scrolling, but it doesn't take into account, it doesn't any other drug, right? So like cannabis, mushrooms, whatever, right? Ketamine. I don't know. Someone said ketamine to me this week, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm trying to fuck with natural shit. Like ketamine is what?
No, hell yeah.
Oh, because I was talking about I'm going on this retreat and they're offering like medicine, animal medicine, and one of the things they're offering is like MDT,
DMT.
DMT.
Are you serious?
From a toad. the bufo toad, which is from Mexico. And so I started doing research, and I was like, oh shit. So it's like dried venom, but they like burn it into your skin, like on your back, apparently. So I was like, oh, like, this is a little bit scary. And then someone's like, oh yeah, but have you heard of ketamine? And I was like, no,
What?
no, thank you.
Get that
Like,
shit out of here.
I'm not trying to be fucking tranquilized like
What
a
was the
horse. Like,
trip?
no.
What was the name of the place you're going to?
I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Tulum.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
for a retreat. And so we have a couple options of like, different.
That's
We
fucking
have like a
crazy.
shroomy night, and then there's like 2 nights of like toad stuff if you want to.
My heart's
engage.
racing just thinking about it.
And I feel like how could I not do it?
So you are gonna
Like,
try it.
I am. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the bufo toad from
That's
Sonora.
That's what they said, Mike Tyson.
Yes, Mike Tyson did that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Joe Rogan has also done it. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Joe Rogan fan, but I heard him talk a little bit about it. So yeah, I'm gonna try it, and I'm like super juiced.
Damn.
But
Let us know. I'm
Yeah.
so curious about it.
yeah,
I'm
I'll
just so
definitely
curious.
let you know. Apparently, people are never the same after they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared. So my mentor mentioned that like after she did it, like she didn't want alcohol anymore. And I was like, oh no, wait, hold up. Like, how is it gonna change me? How?
You become conservative?
Yeah, like
It's not sexual
what the
frequency anymore?
fuck? Like, excuse me, I want alcohol. Like, no, thank you.
Bible study.
Welcome
Yo,
to
so-
Bible study.
So when I come back from Mexico, the show might, be like biblical frequency. Like-
Instead of like rock, it's like Christian rock.
Bad Bunny, no, he's not allowed anymore. Like- and then the last thing I wanted to mention was couples that have more satisfying sex are couples who have this like gender egalitarianism. So it's not like defined like by gender roles, but it's more like an equity thing of like, no, this is how we're gonna like live our life together regardless of our gender. You don't have to cook or wash the dishes or blah blah blah, whatever. They're the ones who seem to be having the most satisfying sex. So pro tip for y'all out there, ditch the conventional gender norms. It'll get your pussy dry real quick. At least I know definitely for me. Yo, it's like 10 o'clock already.
Yeah.
We didn't even get a chance to play the game, so we'll definitely do pillow talk. But before we end this episode, I want all of the people who listen to Sexual Frequency or watch us to tune in, keep your eye out, let the people know where they can find you all.
Julie, go ahead and do the honors.
Y'all can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Primos Chidos Radio Show. Catch us tomorrow every Thursdays. Thursdays tomorrow. So Thursday at 12 p.m. You guys can also catch us at TGN Latinx on YouTube. And also
Our Instagrams are July and December. To me, it's Steve Martinez, but instead of Martinez, it says Martian is. They're not gonna figure it out. And then
It's in
Brandon,
our bio.
and Brandon,
It's
it's
in
up
our
to
bio.
you because you're a private guy.
Yeah, I don't have social media.
Yeah, he's kind of like in the
He's
shadows.
a mystery.
So if you ever feel like a light breeze on your neck,
That's me.
yeah, it's him.
That's
It's
Brandon.
him.
Brandon.
He's around.
It's like, oh, Brandon, are you there? Are you there?
And the spooky Brandon.
El Spooky. Did you guys ever watch that show on HBO?
Which one?
Los
Is it-
Spookies?
Los Spookies.
I think there's a
It's-
new
yes,
season right
two is coming
now.
out, or it already probably came out, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good
that's a
show.
good one.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
This Fool. Have you guys seen This Fool? on
I've heard
Hulu?
about that
I
one.
heard
Oh,
about
this
it.
one's
Uh,
good. Yeah, this
This
one was
Fool
really good.
is.
I liked it.
I don't know if that might be a generational thing, but This Fool is fucking funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, it is. It's a good show. Okay, so we're gonna end the show how we do every week with the wise words from my ancestor, my mother, who said, "Play with yourself every night, so you know your body and you know what you like." This is Goddess Lore.
Rick Rocks.
Brandon.
Jules.
Steve, follow us.
See you guys next week, 9 o'clock, same time. We have Horny Astrology next week, so we want to know what's going on because Mercury and microwave and reggaeton in all the ways. And I don't know. Like, are you done yet? Please move forward. But we will see you guys next week at 9. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye, y'all.
See you guys.
Bye.
And we're back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk, exclusively on YouTube and brought to you by Infinity Studios. This is a hub for creators. If you're looking to start a podcast, if y'all want to be on TV, if you want to take pictures, do all of the things, hit up Infinity Studios across all social media. Infinity Studios, they got you. Monterey Park, super close to downtown, very central, low key, but bomb ass studio. So thank you. They're our sponsor for Pillow Talk tonight. We are here with Los Primos Chidos.
What's up? What's up?
We just had a very long kind of, did it feel long?
It flew by.
It
It
flew
goes by
by.
fast,
The conversation around, you know what I mean. I got this move on my mind.
You driving me?
You know me. You know me.
I think you're lying.
I think it's a tequila. I've been sipping.
Lucky. I was
Let's
already-
do
I
a
was like, damn, man.
toast.
I was like,
Yeah, let's
I've
do
been
a
waiting to take
toast.
this shot.
To Primos
know.
Chidos, to a bomb ass episode.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you for
I'm gonna
coming on.
sip.
Salud.
Salud.
Sipping or
It's
You
up
can
to you,
sip, yeah.
Brandon. Brandon's wild,
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
Brandon be like on another level. Look at him. Look at him. We had talked about playing a couple of games. So do we want to do Name Your Threesome or do we want to do Never Have I Ever? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys.
I feel like Never Have I Ever will be fun. How do you play Never Have I Ever actually?
So we all have a little bit of a sip, and it's more of a game of like we're getting to know each other, right? So you can come up with a scenario and you say like, never have I ever tried pussy chips. And so if you tried
Okay.
pussy chips and you take a sip and everybody knows, oh,
So if you've done
they
it,
try
you-
pussy
If you've
chips.
done it, yeah, you take
Yeah,
the
if
sip.
you've done it, or we could do the reverse. If you haven't done it, you could take a
Yeah.
sip.
Yeah. So
You
how
think we
how
should do that
yeah,
if we
you have-
haven't done it?
If you haven't done it, I'd say
we're
take
gonna
a
get
sip.
hammered.
Well,
Yeah, I want you guys to go first, so that way
Let's see.
you get to know us. Right.
Okay. Rick, do you have your question ready to go?
okay.
Or do you want me to go?
All right, you can start. Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like mine is no one's gonna get it. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. So where is my question? Here we go. So my question is, never have I ever fantasized about having a threesome or group sex.
So
So if we have done it,
So if you have done it, you take a sip.
If we fantasize that.
Fantasize about a threesome or group sex. Steve, you need
Yeah,
some
I'll put it- I'll
some
put it.
tequila in there.
yeah, I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to let you guys know, Primos, this is a very special bottle of tequila for me because I brought it from, it came straight from Mexico when I went to my cousin's wedding. It's Don Julio 70, and we know it tastes much better when it comes from Mexico. So it's a special bottle. I don't share it with just anybody, so I wanted to share it with you
Wow.
guys tonight.
Cool,
So
cool.
I feel
Yeah,
special.
thank you.
Yeah.
yay, we're getting to know each other.
That's right.
So
Getting
I
to
figured
know
when you
you.
have guests over, you want to, although I don't have like a chaser or lime or anything else, but we don't need it because it's fine tequila that
There's
we're
another
drinking
water
out of
bottle if anybody
Goose
needs it.
Island little beer company shot glasses. Okay, who is going next? Who's got the next question?
Yeah, Julie, go ahead.
I just looked these up. I used them. Let's see. Oh, never have I ever hooked up with an ex.
So if we have done it, we have to sip.
Yeah, if you've hooked
if you
up with
have
an
done it.
ex.
Yeah.
If you have done it.
Okay, you got me there.
I hooked up with a couple exes. X's and O's.
But never a Y or a Z.
I like that one.
Okay,
All right,
who's next? Let's go.
Never have I ever been caught being a peeping Tom or
No.
spying on someone having sex.
No.
No.
Damn, I'm
I've
the only
been-
one. Damn.
Drink it. Drink it. Rick Rock with the hard cock. Now we know how your cock gets hard.
Today.
He's you have admitted this on the show. You are a voyeur.
Yes, exactly.
We know this about you. So
Wait, a voyeur?
I like,
Like
to
as-
watch. Yeah, I like to watch. I mean,
Oh, wow.
everybody watches porn, right? So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to watch it?
So you're
live?
getting like the
Watch
3D
live.
experience.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like going to a concert, right?
It's like going to a concert.
That's a good one,
It's
Brandon.
gonna
I
sound
like it.
different, but it's like, hey, you're fucking in the moment, right?
Yeah. I'm finding out that I'm much more of a voyeur, I think, than I like considered myself to be. Yeah. I like it.
I think it's hot. I mean,
It is.
I know it's private, but sex is wonderful. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, I
And
don't
you
know.
learn skills.
Well, that too, especially that. If you're like watching, like, what? You can do that? I'm like, okay, you know, like,
Yeah, like, let me
you can
try
use
that.
some pointers. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh.
Come
Yeah, take
through.
notes.
I got some
It's a
new
class.
skills.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like when you do improv, like yeah, you could like participate, but sometimes you see someone who's really good at it, and you're like, wow, like
Yeah, mind blown. It's
Yeah.
like you're at your improv class and all of a sudden it's like Dave Chappelle's there. Like, like what the fuck? Next level shit. Like, okay, I'm gonna pick up some skills right here. If you guys are in the chat, I think maybe it's like Priestess is there. If she
Yeah.
has like a question for us, she can.
Well,
she can
Princess
chime
was
in.
on there saying we need to see Ricky. LOL. But yeah. The
Oh, I know.
due to the camera configurations, I'm
Sad
unfortunately
face.
out. But it's all right.
It's a ghost.
I'm a ghost. Yeah. I'm one of the spookies.
I'm a
his
ghost.
presence is here.
I'm like, I felt a chill. Brandon, how are you? How are you two places at once?
He pops out. You need a coat? Yeah, I got you. Girl.
Holy shit.
I love it. Okay, who's got the next question?
Okay. Never have I ever cheated in a relationship.
This is the part of the show where you give us an opportunity to explain or share our story if we choose to.
I can't believe I have a show with you, and I'm on your show.
Okay, so I will share my story, and Julie, you could share yours if you'd like. I was in the 8th grade, and it was a long-term relationship. You know, from El Sereno to West Covina, when you're in the 8th grade, is like
Far, dude.
Mexico,
That's
right? Like
far.
it's really far. We were already on the verge of like breaking up, and it just so happened my sister took me to meet like some of her friends like right before entering high school, and I made the very terrible decision of making out with a boy.
I can't even.
And
look
that's
at
the
you
only
right now.
that's the
That's
only
crazy.
time that I ever cheated, and I did tell him what happened, and I felt really fucking terrible, and I vowed to like never do that again, because even though we were about to break up, you know, there may or may not have been alcohol involved. Not that it's an excuse, but you know, I said what I said. That's my piece.
No one's perfect, I guess.
Right?
I feel like I was in the same thing where our relationship was ending. It was also like a long distance relationship, so it was already like kind of going to shit. So
Okay.
it was kind of like, I mean, there was also infidelity on their side, so it was kind of like, I don't know if it was like revenge in a way, but it,
Payback.
It's more, yeah, it's more to show them, hey, I can do
I
that
was just-
too.
but
can do
I
that
felt-
too.
it was like getting intimate, and then I just felt very guilty, and I was like, no, I can't do this. Like, so it was like there, but it wasn't. I wasn't very proud of it because I was like, I can't do this. Like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I was just like, no, and then that's kind of like it just went to shit after that. And I was kind of like, yeah, this isn't right. I don't like this at all.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah. Next
All right.
question.
You're not my sister anymore.
Next question.
How
Hurry.
dare you. So High Priestess has one. She says,
Okay.
Never have I ever been caught watching porn. I've never been caught watching porn.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
So I wasn't technically caught, but my sister lives in like the back and she didn't tell me she was coming home. So it's definitely watching porn. And I heard her walking in the kitchen. So I changed my phone. So technically she didn't catch me, but she was like, "What's wrong with you? You look weird. You're acting really weird right now." And I was like,
I was watching Cops.
"Oh, nothing." I was about to take a nap, like, but I'm sure I was like beat red and texting Kinky Boo and watching porn all at the same time, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So technically, she didn't catch me, but I was almost caught.
Okay.
So I'll take a half.
Yeah.
Just did it.
Okay, next question. Brandon, do you have one?
High Priestess said that counts.
Fine, I'll take a whole sip.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Never have I ever done feet stuff.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Like feet stuff to someone or feet stuff being done to you?
Either or.
I mean, I had someone.
Bro, she's gonna get hammered. She's gonna
Ricky,
fall over.
are you driving?
I was gonna say you gotta drive, right?
I had somebody put my toe in their mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it
It
feel
was
good?
it felt great. It was actually, I'm gonna just share the story. It was actually Kinky Boo, and it was the first time that we had like hooked up. And so my leg was like, he was like holding my leg or my foot, and he put my toe in his mouth for like a little bit. My mouth watered again.
Fond
It was
memories.
nice,
Yeah,
but we
right?
haven't, we didn't do it since. It wasn't something where I'm just like, "Oh, suck on my toe, babe." Like, no. But I had it done once and it was good. I would do it again.
All right. I'm reading the
Okay.
comments, and High
Mhm.
Priestess was like, define feet stuff, but we already did. So
Mhm.
Oh, she's had
Well,
feet stuff.
yeah.
Like people do feet stuff. Yeah.
Priestess, you better be drinking, Priestess.
Apparently, Pisces are really into like feet stuff. Have
Really?
like foot fetishes.
Is Tarantino a Pisces?
I don't know.
That's
we
a
should
good, yeah.
we should Google that shit.
Oh, there
We
you go.
should.
Yeah, look at it real
Yeah.
quick.
That'd be crazy if you want.
If it is, yeah, yeah.
It would be, right?
I'll start
Like-
believing more in astrology.
What is when are they?
Quentin Tarantino birthday.
Pisces are March? No.
Quentin.
Yes.
January, February.
I mean, you could just put
February, March?
what's his sign? What's Quentin Tarantino's sign? Ricky, do you have another question for the group?
Never have I ever flirted with a married person.
Let me
Yeah.
think about that one for a second.
I mean, I said flirt. That was the easy one. I was gonna say fool around, but either
I'm
way,
sipping.
It's still the same thing. I got a sip too.
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I'm saying like, in the Matrix when you see like a bunch of
You're seeing all your memories.
yeah, like at hyperspeed.
Rick, do you want to share your experience?
Like, he's an Aries.
Okay,
he's an
I
Aries.
will
Wait,
share mine.
But real quick, High Priestess is saying no lie. Don't knock it till you try it. It feels good if they want to put it in their mouth. She's referencing.
Put it in
the
your
feet.
mouth.
And then going back to Tarantino, she said he's not. So
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he's an
not.
Aries.
He's an outlier?
Aries.
He's an
Yeah.
Aries. Interesting.
outlier.
Fire. That makes
He's the
sense.
exception.
Okay.
One of his like risings maybe. Or something.
Possibly. Let's look at his birth chart. I want to be clear about the flirting with a married person. I did not know that they were married. I had gone to the bar with my friend. They were doing a fundraiser. I'm very social, so I was selling tickets for the raffle. So I'm selling tickets, and then at one point I started like, "Oh, if you buy 10 tickets, like you'll get a kiss from me, like a kiss on the cheek." And then I started talking to this guy, and we just got really friendly, and I was like touching his thigh, and like we were talking about our kids, and I was like practically like in between his legs, like super, we were like flirting and touchy, right? And then I was like, "Oh, like, so who's watching your kids?" And then he was like, "Oh, wifey." And I was all instant dryness, like, bruh, what? Like,
dryness.
I mean, in fairness to him, I
I
didn't
love
ask.
that.
Maybe they were in an open relationship, but that for me, I was like, yeah, dude, like, what? Why are no? Like, you should have stopped me at touching your thigh, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't feel good. So I flirted with someone. I did not know that he was married.
Wait, I have one. I have one.
Mhm.
Never have I ever messed around with a friend.
Well, I don't know. How good of a friend? No, I
Drink
got you.
it. Drink it, Ricky. Don't make me drink alone.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Julie,
You're like-
Julie.
I have to rethink the Primos Chidos. We are in shambles.
Yeah, I've messed around with like friends before. It was all good.
But
I mean,
yeah, I think it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's part of.
Friendship?
That's a fucking great answer. Yes, but it's part of
I'm
life.
looking for new friends.
Growing up, yeah, you know, with
I
your
get you.
friends, and it's who you're around with, and you know, sometimes you kind of gravitate towards them, and you know, things happen. So you know, it happens.
I get you.
Definitely. I remember going to a sleepover in high school. Like the one sleepover my mom ever let me go to was like the worst thing. We played spin the bottle and I made out with like all my friends. It's like you can't go to sleepovers from this age to this age. And then it was like, Mom, please talk to her parents. And she talked to her parents. Her parents were like, did not give a fuck about where we were at, what we are doing. We broke into their alcohol cabinet. We played spin the bottle. I kissed 4 of my friends that night. My mouth watered again. Yeah, most of them were really good kissers.
That's good.
Y'all know who you are.
Sounds fun.
Okay, guys, we have to wrap this up. Oh my gosh. Pillow Talk went by too fast. Thank you so much for coming on. We would love to have you and host you again. Maybe next time with a chaser.
Apologies for that.
Yeah, sorry. But no, we brought some fine tequila
Yeah,
straight from
exactly.
Mexico.
You don't need a chaser.
Right? Chaser, what? Who are you? Yeah, we had such a good time having you guys on. We hope to have you guys on again. Let the people know one more time where they can find you.
You can find us on Instagram, Primos Chidos Radio Show. You can find us on TikTok, Primos Chidos Radio Show. And you know what? You'll probably find us again on this show. So
Hey, yes, let's
exactly.
manifest that.
That's
Really
a round
quickly.
a round of applause for that.
Yes, we definitely want to have you back. What do you guys do? Like, what is your passion? Like,
beyond the I don't mean to speak for Brandon, but we're really into movies. Dream is to one day, you know, direct, make movies,
Yes.
write movies, like just get in the film industry. So if you really want to see this, one day you won't be able to avoid us. So
I love that.
Love
We
that.
actually did a red carpet together
really?
too.
Yeah,
When we did for
yeah.
Jorge Cholalpa's
Eugenio was
movie.
there,
Yeah.
right?
It was it's the only red carpet I've done so far, but it was great. It was fun. Like we were
It
dressed
was,
up and all babies. We were fucking babies just doing the thing. Like I felt like a baby. I don't know about you guys. But I love that. I'm laughing because when you initially were gonna start talking, I could have swore you were gonna say I'm into Beyonce. I was like, oh, okay, shit.
What? Yeah, I'm running her fan club. President.
He's into Beyonce as he should. But thank you so much for joining us. This was Pillow Talk, and we will see you next week, baby. Don't miss it. You're gonna want the recap of the hot date.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Me and Benito and all his friends.
Maybe I'll be there too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
I
I'll be
love
there
it.
too.
Yes.
And maybe you'll feel a cold chill on your neck.
And then we'll be like, Brandon, we knew you couldn't miss this. We knew you had to join us.
I knew you were here, Brandon.
All right, guys, we will see you next week. Besitos. Take care.
Bye, y'all. Have a good one.
Yeah, we should finish our shots.